About 15 years ago, I had one dream: to become a famous stand-up comedian. I wasn't great in school, but I could always make people laugh. So instead of going to college, I chased comedy. Spoiler alert, I never made it big. In fact, I spent years bombing on stage. But the worst part of that journey wasn't failure. It was the most terrifying night of my life. Back then, comedy didn't pay. I would drive hours just to perform for 5 minutes. One night, I got a huge opportunity. A competition 5 hours away with real comedians as judges. This was my shot. The problem? I had a terrible car, and an even worse sense of direction. Somewhere along the way, I got completely lost. I ended up in a tiny, run-down town, just a few broken buildings and a gas station. The people there felt off. They were rude, cold, and just stared at me in a way I couldn't explain. After getting directions, I left as quickly as I could. About an hour later, on a dark, empty road surrounded by trees, I heard a loud noise. My car jerked. Flat tire. Actually, worse. Both front tires were completely destroyed. Nails driven straight into them. That's when I realized this wasn't an accident. I was stranded. No signal, no help, just darkness. Then I saw headlights behind me. A car stopped in the distance, just watching. Minutes later, another vehicle pulled up in front of me. And then I recognized it. The same white pickup truck from that town. Before I could react, bang! A man slammed against my window. It was one of the men from the gas station. He tried opening my door. Another man ran to the passenger side. They were pulling, hitting, grunting, like they weren't even trying to speak. Then suddenly, one of them just stood there, staring at me, and started screaming. Not normal screaming, something animal-like. I panicked. I kicked the door open, knocking him down, and ran into the woods. But instead of running far, I dropped to the ground, hiding. Seconds later, I heard them run past me. They thought I kept going. I waited, then ran back, grabbed my bag, and took off down the road. I ran for my life. Eventually, I flagged down a car. A woman helped me and called the police. But there was no proof, no suspects. Just dents on my car, and a story no one believed. To this day, I don't know why they targeted me. But I do know one thing. They were never trying to help.
Last summer, what was supposed to be a fun girls' road trip turned into a nightmare I'll never forget. I'm not spontaneous. I plan everything. But after a messy breakup, my friend Sarah and I agreed to go on a trip with our adventurous friend Alyssa. For days, everything was perfect. Until we saw the barn. It was abandoned, completely overgrown, like nature had swallowed it whole. Alyssa wanted to explore it immediately. I refused. Something felt wrong. But days later, she convinced us to go back. We parked far away and walked up. Inside, it was disturbing. Strange equipment, rusted tools, things that didn't even look like farm equipment. It felt wrong. But we kept exploring. Eventually, we found a small empty house nearby, and for some reason, we decided to stay the night. By 9 p.m., we were asleep. At around 3 a.m., I woke up. I thought I heard someone shushing. Then, bang! The door shook violently. Then tapping on the window. It wasn't the wind. Someone was outside. We froze. Then the door slowly opened. 3 people walked in. 2 men and a woman. They didn't rush us. They just stood there, watching. When my friend screamed, one of them screamed back, mimicking her. Then, they all put on masks. One wore a purple cube over his head. Another had a crude Batman-like mask. The woman wore a twisted, icy-looking mask. They started moving closer, slowly. As we panicked, they got louder, more aggressive. One grabbed me. I shoved her down. That's when my friend pulled out pepper spray. We sprayed and ran. As we escaped, I looked back. The woman reached into her waistband. I didn't wait to see what she was grabbing. We ran, jumped into the car, and drove as fast as we could. They didn't follow, which somehow made it even scarier, because it meant they didn't need to. To this day, we don't know who they were or where they came from. There was no sign of anyone earlier. No footprints, no cars, nothing. Just those 3 masked strangers appearing out of nowhere.
Louis lived in a quiet, peaceful town, the kind of place where nothing bad ever happened. Or at least, that's what he used to believe. Everything changed the night his best friend Colton broke up with his girlfriend Addie. She didn't take the breakup well at all. She became obsessed, angry, and unstable. A few days later, Louis and Colton were at the gym when they noticed a girl in a red hoodie standing in the corner. She wasn't working out, she was just watching them. She walked into the men's locker room for a moment, then came back out wearing the same clothes. She didn't touch any equipment. She didn't sweat. She just stood there, staring. After a few minutes, she disappeared without saying a word. Later that evening, Colton turned to Louis and said half-jokingly, "What if that was Addie?" They both laughed it off, but deep down, something didn't feel right. That same night, while Louis was home alone, he heard knocking. First on the side window, soft at first, then louder. Then another window, then the front door. Violent, aggressive shaking, like someone was desperately trying to break in. Suddenly, the knocking stopped, and then came the laughter. Not normal laughter. It was hysterical, unhinged, completely unstable. The kind of laugh that makes your skin crawl. Louis froze in terror, heart hammering at his chest. His phone buzzed on the table. A message from an unknown number. "Stay away from Colton." Another message followed immediately. This time it was a photo, a close-up of a large kitchen knife held in someone's hand. The caption read, "I'm outside." Louis was shaking. He quickly called his dad, whispering in panic. His dad told him to stay inside and called the police immediately. The laughter outside continued, getting louder, more manic, echoing through the quiet neighborhood. Then, just as suddenly as it started, the laughter stopped. Dead silence. When the police finally arrived, flashing lights cutting through the darkness, they found her. Addie was sitting calmly on the front steps, waiting. Red hoodie still on, knife placed neatly beside her. She didn't run. She didn't fight. She admitted everything. She had come there to scare Louis. Maybe worse. She wanted to send a message to Colton through him. She was arrested that night. But even after she was taken away, one terrifying question kept haunting Louis. How did she find his address? No one had told her where he lived. Not Colton, not any mutual friends. She had never been to his house before. To this day, Louis still thinks about that night. Every time he hears a strange sound outside his window, he wonders if she's really gone, or if someone else is still out there, watching.
A woman from Alaska worked as a wilderness guide. She was experienced and fearless in even the harshest conditions. Her boyfriend Randy was just as skilled. One winter, they planned a snowmobile trip between 2 remote cabins. They had done this route before, so everything should have been fine. But on the second day, a sudden and violent blizzard hit. despite the dangerous storm, they decided to keep pushing forward. That decision almost cost them everything. Randy's snowmobile suddenly crashed. His leg was badly broken. He couldn't move at all. They tried to get him onto the other snowmobile, but it was impossible in the deep snow and freezing wind. There was only one option left. She had to leave him behind and ride for help. She gave him all the supplies she could, used her satellite phone to call for rescue, and then rode alone into the raging blizzard. After some time, she realized something was wrong. The terrain no longer looked familiar. She might be lost. Then, through the heavy snow, she saw something strange. Smoke rising from a cabin in the distance. Relieved, she headed straight for it. The cabin was warm and recently used, but no one was inside. As she looked around, she found disturbing things. A map with several locations marked, detailed notes describing different people, and records of their movements. Someone had been carefully tracking people in that remote area. Then she heard something that turned her blood cold. A woman screaming. The sound was coming from under the floorboards. It wasn't words, just pure, desperate, horrifying screaming. She panicked and ran out of the cabin as fast as we could. She jumped on her snowmobile and fled into the storm without looking back. Eventually, she reached a real cabin and called for help. Rescue teams managed to save Randy just in time. Later, she reported the strange cabin to the authorities. But when they searched the area, they found nothing. No cabin, no evidence, no trace it had ever existed. To this day, she still doesn't know what she experienced. Was it a hallucination caused by the cold and exhaustion? A hidden trap set by someone dangerous? Or something far worse? One thing she knows for sure. If she had stayed even a few minutes longer in that cabin, she might have been the one screaming under the floor. This happened during another spring break. I went on a trip with my girlfriend Anna, her friend Lena, and Lena's boyfriend Colby. Lena told us about a big lake house party that a friend had invited her to. When we arrived, something immediately felt off. The house was massive, right on the water, with a huge wraparound deck. But there were way more people than expected. I counted at least 25 cars parked in front and along the road. A guy at the front door greeted us. He introduced himself as the host. He seemed friendly, but there was something strange about him. His words sounded rehearsed, like he had said them many times before. Then he asked for our car keys. He said it was for safety reasons, because the roads around the lake were narrow and dangerous at night. Colby handed them over. The host dropped the keys into a big bowl that already had many other sets inside. Once inside, the party looked normal at first. Loud music, people playing games, plenty of alcohol. But Lena had a problem. She didn't recognize a single person, not even the friend who was supposed to have invited her. Still, we decided to stay. The first night was actually pretty fun. We socialized, played pool, and drank with the others. But one thing kept bothering me: the host. He wasn't partying like everyone else. He just walked around quietly, watching people. At one point, I saw him standing near the back door, writing things down on a clipboard. The next morning, I woke up early and went downstairs. I noticed the bowl full of car keys had completely disappeared from the foyer. That struck me as odd. Later that night, we were all sitting around the bonfire. I glanced across the fire and saw a couple sitting a bit further back. I immediately recognized them. They were the same couple I had seen packing up and driving away that morning. I quietly got up and checked the parking area. Their car was gone. But later, I walked down the road and found that exact same car hidden behind an equipment shed, out of sight from the house. That's when I knew something was seriously wrong. I confronted the couple directly and asked why they had pretended to leave. They denied everything and acted like I was crazy. But the moment I spoke, everyone around us went completely quiet and started staring. The next morning, I made my decision. We had to leave immediately. When I told the host we needed our car keys back, he tried hard to convince me to stay. He kept smiling and making excuses, saying the nights only got better. But I insisted. Suddenly, the entire room went silent. Every single person was staring at me. No one spoke. The host's friendly smile vanished. He gave me a cold, dead-eyed look. A girl sitting nearby broke the silence and said coldly, "That's not a good idea." Finally, the host agreed, but he told me to follow him alone. He led me through a maze of hallways into a room where all the car keys were hanging neatly on hooks. Without asking, he already knew exactly which set was ours and handed them over. As I took the keys, he looked me straight in the eyes and said quietly, "You're making a mistake." We packed our things in under 10 minutes and left as fast as we could. As Colby drove away, I looked back at the house. About a dozen people were standing perfectly still on the deck, lined up in a row, just watching us leave in complete silence. More faces stared at us from the windows. Later, Lena tried to contact the friend